Hello, today what I want to do is share the OneTigris Black Orca Teepee. Now this one here is the Smokey hut, and I'm going to hook up my G-stove inside this today, and I'm going to give it a test by burning a fire in it and just see how it works with sparks and such. I'm not going to worry about heat because it's a warm day. It's going to get hot in there. Now this one here is the G-stove Heat View XL. This one I'm going to be doing a full review on in the future. But this one here, I'll have to make a smaller fire in it because it would cook you out in here. This is meant for small cabins, larger tents, and so on. It puts out a massive amount of heat, and I'd rather buy something that can put out a lot of heat when I need it, and that way there all I have to do in the smaller spaces that I gotta heat, just make a smaller fire as needed. So this one here, I'm going to set it up with this, and I also made a stove jack for this that I want to share. So what I've done for a stove jack is I have used a silicone baking sheet. Now this is rated for, I believe, 500 degrees. So I made the hole an inch bigger than my stovepipe. Thus, if the wind blows and such, it may just barely touch it. But I've had it touch before and I've not had a problem. And I've sewn in Velcro around the edges so I can just place it right in here. That's what I'm going to use today and test. I've done this, like I said, with my other DIY stove tent that I made. But I'm going to make sure this is up out of the way for sure. First off, now that that's up out of the way, I'm going to put it up top first, press it in, and then run this down the sides. That will do. Now if it rains, that's not going to stop any rain from getting in, but I'm not worried about that. I'm just worried about melting this material. This is the realism of setting up these out here. This is not level at all. So what I would do is actually turn this around inside so I can feed it from the inside. And I may have to do that because this here is not level. So I've set that up now, and I've opened up this other side because I could still lay back there and have a fire in here and still be toasty. But open that up so you can see better. I'm going to start a fire in here, and I'm going to get a close-up of how close the stove jack is and how it's going to work. So there's the stove jack there. It's according on how the wind is. It goes in and out, in and out. But I've had my pipe touch this material before, the silicone, and it's been fine. So we're going to give it a test. I also have water on hand just in case. Also, I'm far away from the material here. And I've got a fireproof blanket underneath the stove. This stove works amazing. We also have a damper here where you can adjust the airflow. I've had to turn it down a little bit. Now we're just going to let this go for a while and just see how the stove jack works, and just keep an eye out for sparks and such. I have a spark arrestor on top. Pretty much nullifies all the sparks. I'm going to just close this up totally and let this burn for a little bit. I know it's going to get hot in there, but I'm not going to throw a whole lot of wood in it. I don't want it super hot in there because, like I said, this here gives off a lot of heat. So mostly I just wanted to see how this would set up, and I could easily get in behind it, have my bed here, firewood over there, gear down here, or gear and firewood up that way. Use this as my entrance and exit. So this here would work, but I can also turn that around in a different area. This one here, I had to place my stove in a spot that was somewhat level. I've also got this supported with a fireproof cord running from a tree over to here. Just keeps the stovepipe by being blown in the wind and such, so it helps support it. And also, like I said, this is going in and out, and yeah, I can touch around there and it's not that hot, that silicone. So it's working great thus far. This here, since this is open, can be my entrance. I can just go in through this side. I can leave this one as is. Now, you can really feel the warmth in there for sure. So I'm just going to let this burn out now. I wanted to do this setup test and just see how the stove jack's going to work. Now, whenever I'm going to put a stove in a shelter like this, I'm going to actually buy a smoke detector just for safety's sake. And I seen a video where someone mentioned that one time, and it just makes sense. If I'm going to have a fire in my shelter, I'm going to carry a smoke detector and make sure I have good batteries before I go out. Safety first. You do not want to be in this if it catches fire. So I'm very happy with this test. It was successful. And I'm going to leave a link where you can check out the G-Stove. It's pretty spectacular, and I'm really enjoy using it. So this here with that stove jack and such, I can't wait until colder weather so I can set this up and have a few campouts. Thanks for watching. Take care. All the best.